Hi, my name is Jenny McNally. I'm with McNally Family Farm, hence the name. My husband and myself started growing organically over 26 years ago, with the result that we now have a farm which employs our own children, all 5 of them, and also we have about 2 full-time employees and then about 3 part-time employees. We have a small farm, it's only 77 acres. About 25-30 acres is occupied with field veg at the moment, and then we have about 4 acres under protected crops. It's all basically run by ourselves. We grow and sell organically all the time. We would sell at markets and we sell here at our farm shop as well. We chose to go organic because it's a healthier way, it's a much better way of living. We actually had when we started the markets a long time ago, we were conventional and we didn't use pesticides, we didn't use anything, chemicals, fungicides, nothing at all. And then people were saying, well, you know, okay, you don't use anything, but put your stamp on it. And we were just sort of saying, well, what do you mean, put your stamp on it? He says, you know, have you not got a body behind you, like the Organic Trust or it was the IOFCA those days? And, you know, we thought about it and said, that makes sense actually. So we looked up the various bodies, looked up Organic Trust and saw that they were leaned more towards horticultural. So we chose Organic Trust and they've been behind us 100% all the way. And we've never looked back, ever. So it was the best decision we ever made. There's been no drawbacks at all. All I can say is the drawbacks would probably be the weather. Like everything is always there for you. If you're in trouble, not in trouble, but if you have questions, you always have another grower to talk to, or you can go to the trust and they can advise you. They can give you any aid that you need, but I haven't honestly say that we've had no drawbacks. All we have is the guaranteed trust from customers who come to us every week, see the Organic Trust label, see that what we're doing is growing and selling our own produce, and they have full trust in us.
Brilliant.
When we started growing organic, we thought, oh my God, we're going to have to do so many things differently. The only thing I think that we would do is probably employ a few more people from the very beginning, but that wasn't an option for us. We had 5 small children at the time, and also would be to invest in machinery. Like there's so much more machinery out there nowadays, like weeders and planters and everything, that will precisely put the plant where you want it, and then the weeder will come along and will precisely weed alongside the actual plant and that. But other than that, you know, but then you just needed maybe more financial support would be the one I would go for, yes.
And was there
I would be more inclined towards the do's than the don'ts. Like we have always insisted on growing in season from the farm, and when you go to market, that is all you get is from our farm and that. And you know, I probably would have expanded our range a little bit quicker and would have browsed those seed catalogues an awful lot earlier and found out different things, instead of customers coming to us asking us to grow something in particular because they miss it from back home in Italy or back home in Brazil, like collard greens in Catalonia and dandelion. And it's just, we're not used to, and Irish people would not be used to eating bitter greens, but they're so good for your system, and we have learned a lot over the years. Possibly I would say look at what other people are doing and in other countries and browse those catalogues and get those seeds and get them growing.
brilliant?
Absolutely. I'm not going to lie, it's hard, it's not easy, it's a lot of hard work, but it's so rewarding. I mean, you go in, like, I keep going on about the markets and that, but you keep going to the market and people come back and say, thank you, the food is delicious, I feel so much better for it, and we actually feel better for it too. Mind you, it's bloody freezing sometimes, your hands are cold, your feet are cold, and then during the summer you're absolutely roasting, but there is such a great reward coming back home. You go out with a full van, you come back home with a practically empty van, because you know your product has gone out to so many different homes. Getting your product to the final consumer with, like, we have gone the market route. We don't go supermarket, so we go from farm to basically your table, and you know it's such a shorter journey, and it's so much better for the environment, for people, for everybody really. It's quite simple really. I mean, between green manures, you put your green manure in for winter ones, and then you've got spring ones that you can put in, and then have your autumn winter planting going on. And then we can also use a dried chicken pellet, which is also organic, and then we have access to some poultry manure from our own farm, and then if we need extra we can get some, where you're allowed so much in per farm or per hectare. So what we are doing, and it's one of the sons on the farm, he did a composting course with Knots, and he's full on about composting, even though we had been composting, but that's making a huge difference. Also, we have somewhere to go with our waste material, like the tomato vines, any sort of waste leaves and that, they all go onto the compost heap, and it's the most amazing looking compost altogether. It's just really, really good. Yeah, very happy with it. Possibly a lot more machinery in the respect, like the biggest problem any horticultural end have is weeds. So if you cannot control the weeds from the very start, and if they take off, you're in trouble. We've often lost crops to weeds that you just sort of say, what exactly were we growing here? And then we thought, oh yeah, it's weeds. But if you have these wonderful machinery called Garfords and that, and they're robotic machinery, and if they could go out and do the weeding for you, whereas all the rest of the team can be doing planting or sowing or something else, and it would take another job off the thing and off the agenda. So it would mean that the smaller weeds are gone, but access to better machinery in this country would be great, and then the help that you need to access those, like grants. Well, with COVID happening over the last couple of years, which we all fully remember and we're still living through, like all our markets were shut down, and a lot of people were contacting us to say, hey, where can we get your produce? So we immediately changed from, once we knew lockdown was going to happen, my daughter, who runs the farm shop, immediately changed from the small tiny farm shop we had to a much bigger area, which meant that people could access good food and that. And once you have access to good food, it is better for nutritional value for your health and for your body and that. So we have actually evolved the whole farm shop area, whereas it's now a much bigger area than it was. And we also run a cafe now as well. So two of the girls run that. One girl runs the farm shop and the other girl runs the cafe, and she's the chef. So the farm actually now employs all of the five children, 3 of them technically on the farm, and then the other 2, one farm shop and one farm cafe. The involvement, there's talk about running courses and about, starting your own garden, or how do you plant, or how do you sow and that. So there's talk about that. I'm not holding my hand up yet, but we'll let them talk for a while before anything is done. In Ireland mainly, to be able to say, well, there's something wrong with my cabbage, what can I do about it? To have an access to something, to see what is wrong with some disease or other that we've never seen before, or it's just affecting it differently. That would be a great help, just that you could have some sort of a panel or just a board or even a Q&A on the phone, like, you know, or an app on the phone, sort of say, hey, there's something wrong, you know, something's eating my spinach or whatever, you know, or there's a blop on the spinach, you know, what can we do about that, like, you know, or it's just a case of cutting back and composting that lot and just letting it start afresh, or, you know, what's going on with it. And sometimes, you know, well, we grow about 40 or 50 lines, and it's just hard to keep on top of everything, you know, that you just sort of say, okay, right, I don't know what's happening there. Organic means a lot to us. Like, we wouldn't have the business we have now without organic, without the trust people have in us because we're growing organic. And, you know, they see us, and they see us every week at the market, or they see us here, and they can see the amount of work and the amount of love and attention that we put into our produce. So when they bring it home, they respect it as well, and yeah, it's just a whole holistic thing as well. The farm sort of speaks for itself. When you look around the farm and you can see the care and attention, I mean, you can see the soil, you can see the results we get from like, if you look after your soil, you've got a good crop. And the whole thing is just working together. I mean, it just didn't happen overnight. We're at this a long time. But, you know, every year you learn, every spring you learn, every autumn you learn, and you'll just never stop learning. You'll just keep on going. So I think the whole thing just works together very well, like, you know. The farm enhances, you know, everything from the health and well-being of ourselves and our customers. Also the fairness, like, we charge a fair price for our produce. Now, we want to be paid for it. I mean, obviously we've gone through a lot of steps and a lot of hard work to get it there. So, like, we don't overcharge, but we don't undercharge either. I don't believe in giving away stuff. That's madness what the supermarkets do every year at Christmas time. Yeah, I'll stop that one. But, you know, a fair price for a good product, what more could you ask for? I mean, it's the whole benefit for everybody in the country. Well, when you just look, like, you've at this stage we have a certain amount of pride looking across the farm now. Just ignore the weeds going around the place, but you look at the benefit of the soil. I mean, the soil looks amazing, the farm looks great. I mean, and we're producing all this wonderful produce every week, week in, week out. We do not take a break, we never stop, and it's constant. And what more could you ask for?